safe and secure drinking water, healthy aquatic ecosystems, reliable quality water supplies for a sustainable economy. These are the goals of Alberta's Water for Life strategy. They're also the vision of an integrated watershed management plan, led by the Mighty Peace Watershed Alliance. The Mighty Peace is the largest watershed in Alberta, running from its headwaters in British Columbia's Rocky Mountains to Great Slave Lake in the Northwest Territories. The Mighty Peace Watershed Alliance is responsible for those portions in Alberta. The watershed includes the subbasins of the Peace and Slave rivers, the Smoky and Little Smoky, the Wapiti, the Notikewin, and Wabasca rivers, as well as all of their tributaries. Their waters serve the needs of the people, industry, and wildlife of the region. To lay the groundwork for the integrated watershed management plan, the Mighty Peace Watershed Alliance first commissioned a comprehensive State of the Watershed report, which was released in 2015. That report, which explores the watershed, its condition, and the human pressures on it, was the basis for a series of public engagement events and surveys of First Nations, industries, communities, stakeholders, and other decision makers. The work of the technical working groups provided the basis for the first draft of the Integrated Watershed Management Plan, which was revised after more public feedback. The working groups focused on identified key issues of concern: water quality and availability away from the Peace River mainstem and consumptive use, Peace River flow regime, wetlands and wetland loss, and non-saline groundwater. For water quality and availability, conditions on the Peace are generally good, but there are still challenges off the main stem. Challenges that come from cumulative demands for water from commercial operations, municipalities, industry, and watershed management projects and aquatic ecosystems. We recommend a coordinated education and outreach campaign to inform watershed residents and stakeholders about the water quality and availability. We also call for the development of protection plans for source waters throughout the watershed, and support for communities with supply or treatment issues. For the Peace River mainstem, the primary concern is change in the seasonal flow regimes. Before the advent of the Bennett Dam in the late 1960s, river flow rates were significantly higher in summer than during other seasons. But today, the seasonal variation is much smaller, with most of the year seeing flows higher than before, except during May, June, and July, when flows are reduced. The changes have brought serious impacts to aquatic ecosystems and the Aboriginal lifestyles that depend upon the river and the landscape it affects. We recommend using traditional and scientific knowledge to inventory sites along the Peace River that are experiencing flow issues. We need to collect more data on the flow patterns and fill in information gaps. And we need to raise awareness about the importance of healthy river flow and what can be done to restore natural cycles. Wetlands are among the most ecologically important and the most vulnerable of ecosystems. Wetland loss is a serious concern in the Peace and Slave watershed. Wetlands cover almost a third of the watershed, but we need to know more about them and how they're effective. First, we need a general wetland education campaign to spread the word about the importance of wetlands. We need to communicate what we do know about them and what trends we've identified so far. And we need to promote the idea of wetland stewardship among the population at large. Non-saline groundwater is essential to every sector. Most of the available groundwater is allocated to municipalities and industry although registration, agriculture, and commercial demands are significant too. Agricultural use is expected to grow along with population in the future. Like wetlands, we don't know as much as we should about groundwater resources and the pressures upon them. We need a central, accessible database of all groundwater users, uses, and conditions, where new data is automatically entered as it becomes available. Then we need to share water allocation and use information with the public through fact sheets and state of watershed reports. The public needs to better understand groundwater resources and the pressures on them. So now that we know what we need to do, where do we go from here? The Integrated Watershed Management Plan is part of an adaptive management process, one that relies on feedback from stakeholders. It's a living document that will be updated regularly as new information becomes available, and as appropriate decision makers take actions based on the plan's recommendations. We invite you to become part of that process. Write, call, or email us with your thoughts and opinions. After all, the future of the Mighty Peace Watershed Alliance is a shared responsibility.